This is the fifth part of this series on answers to ISC 2024 board examination questions. Already we have discussed answers to 4 questions in the section B. In this video lesson, we shall discuss answers to a few more questions. We shall go straight into our today's lesson. What is meant by autonomous consumption expenditure? Show it on a diagram. Consumption expenditure, which is independent of income, is called autonomous expenditure. Expenditure on necessities like food, shelter, utilities, and health care cannot be ignored and have to be incurred regardless of income. Whether a person earns income or not, he has to meet all these essential expenses. Hence, they are considered autonomous. These expenses are normally met from past savings and borrowings. This graph illustrates this. Consumption expenditure is measured along the y-axis and national income is measured along the x-axis. The consumption function is shown by the curve C. It starts somewhere along the y-axis. In the graph, A is autonomous expenditure. The consumption curve is governed by the function C equal to A plus by. Here, C is consumption expenditure, A is autonomous consumption expenditure, B is marginal propensity to consume, and Y is income. When national income rises from 600 crores to 1000 crores, the consumption expenditure increases from 500 crores to 800 crores. Calculate marginal propensity to consume and hence the value of investment multiplier. First, let us calculate marginal propensity to consume. Marginal propensity to consume equal to delta C by delta Y. Delta C is 800 minus 500 and delta Y is 1000 minus 600. 300 by 400, 0.75. Marginal propensity to consume is 0.75. Now let us use the formula K equal to 1 by 1 minus marginal propensity to consume. 1 by 1 minus 0.75, 1 by 0.25, 4. Multiplier is 4. A large amount of fiscal deficit proves to be counterproductive. Give any 2 reasons in support of this statement. Fiscal deficit can be defined as the borrowings and liabilities of a government. A large amount of fiscal deficit proves to be counterproductive because 1. It leads to the onset of inflation, and 2. It results in unequal distribution of income. Inflation. When a large part of the borrowed amount is spent to meet revenue expenditure and unproductive capital expenditure, it will increase the money supply in the economy and pushes up the aggregate demand. The output cannot be expanded quickly to meet the fast-growing aggregate demand. Ultimately, the economy will be in the grip of inflation. During inflation, except for investors, all others suffer. Inflation further affects the savings adversely. Savings is essential for capital formation. Unequal distribution of income. Normally, a gap is there in the distribution of income among the producing class and the working class. Due to inflation, the income of the producing class in the form of profit will increase. Workers' wage will not increase simultaneously. Thus, the gap between the income of the business class and the working class broadens. The rich people who have already bought government bonds receive interest income. They grow rich. The common people do not get such interest income. This is how the disparity in income distribution between rich and poor emerges and grows in size. The taxes imposed by the government to service the public debt fall on all people. Comparatively, common people pay a larger part of their income by way of tax to the government. It further widens the gap between rich and poor. Unequal distribution of income will lead to social unrest among the people. With this session ends. We shall meet again in the next session.